Sonia Sotomayor. And it overrides Northern California District Judge Susan Ilston's May 9th order freezing the administration's plans for layoffs and program closures. Let's welcome to the show from the House Judiciary Committee, Congressman Jeff Van Drew. It's pretty embarrassing when these liberal activist judges, they get slapped down 8-1 in their partisan decision. 8-1.
It is terrible. And they have politicized the judiciary. They've weaponized the judiciary. And you know, even when it comes to the Department of Justice itself, how much of that happened. You can't have local district judges making decisions, and albeit political decisions, for the whole country. And in some cases, and even beyond. It's nonsense. So the Supreme Court did the right thing. And yeah, it was pretty much everybody on the court, including the Democrats. That just shows how very bad these decisions have been.
Yeah, President Trump earned a mandate from the American people to fundamentally change the way we do business. But far-left Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, she was the only dissenting judge, releasing another wild opinion saying, quote, "For some reason, this court sees fit to step in now and release the president's wrecking ball at the onset of this litigation. In my view, this decision is not only truly unfortunate, but also hubristic and senseless. Lower court judges have their fingers on the pulse of what is happening on the ground and are indisputably best positioned to determine the relevant facts. I see no basis to conclude that the district court erred, let alone clearly so, in finding that the president is attempting to fundamentally restructure the federal government." GW law professor Jonathan Turley had this to say about her dissent.
What Sotomayor noted in her concurrence is that this order simply was having agencies plan for downsizing. And she said, we can hardly stop that. Well, yeah, Jackson believes you can. And this is part of a signature of what's becoming a type of judicial abandon that Jackson has towards the power of these courts. The court could not be more clear. This is another shot across the bow to lower courts that they've got to knock this off. They've got to stop with these injunctions. This is 6 months of delay. It could have been much longer. And the court is signaling, we're going to be on you very quickly if you continue to do these types of orders.
Congressman, your reaction to that whole sequence?
Well, everything Jonathan said was correct. I mean, this judge is particularly bad. I mean, she's, quite frankly, not only a bad judge, but a bad politician. Look, if she wanted to go into politics, then, run for office, try to be a council member, or run for president, whatever the heck you want to do. But there is a balance, and we know that there's the judicial branch, the executive branch. We've learned that in school, that there are separations in the legislative branch. And evidently, this judge just doesn't realize it and is so fanatical and so furious and so left-wing, insists on doing that. Look, we can argue the merits, but that's up to the people and it's up to the president how they're going to deal with this, what positions are going to be lost. But we do know one thing, these judges have gotten out of control. And as I mentioned before, a good deal of what we dealt with on the Judiciary Committee last year and the year before and before that was the Department of Justice.
Congressman Jeff Van Drew, thank you so much for joining us. Again, I'm Jason Chaffetz. I appreciate Elizabeth McDonald letting me fill in for her position. Really